Well, we've finally done it, folks. We have a guest here in studio today who's talking about a topic that we've never had anyone talk about before. Now, I'm not saying it's you, and I'm not saying it's me, but do you happen to know anyone in your life who has, let's say, a temper, and they have a tendency to raise their voice, and they get going, and the next thing you know, they're not, okay, it happens. Well, who ever heard of this? There's a temper coach out there. Actually, we have one here who she is there to help us all control our tempers because it's going to make our life better and the lives of those we love better as well. Her name is Jeanette Hargreaves. She's here in studio with us today. Temper Coaching is the company. Jeanette, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm very good. How are you, Brian?
I am great. Now, I've got to say, we've had coaches in here we've had business coaches, which you can handle as well, but we've had business coaches, of course, nutrition coaches. We've had weightlifting coaches. We've had tennis coaches. I've never had a temper coach. I love this. So give me the backstory here. Where were you and how did you become a temper coach?
Well, it's quite a story, as you might imagine, but to put it shortly, I was raised by a dad who yelled and spanked us. He spanked us with his work boot.
His work boot?
Yeah. Now,
Ouch.
you know, a lot of people, they get spanked sometimes with sticks or belts, but my dad chose his work boot. And my mom sadly stood by and didn't say anything. And when my kids were born, I have twins, I was a yeller and a spanker too. But it just didn't sit right with me, Brian. It didn't feel good. I went to bed at night feeling guilty about it. So I got help, and now I help others.
And then you help others.
Yeah.
So going back to your own experience growing up, is it safe to say we're all products of our environment? And that's all you knew?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I meet people all the time who say, oh, everyone yells.
Yeah.
And now when I'm out, I've talked with thousands of people, and you can imagine I have very interesting conversations. There are sort of these invisible bubbles, and I was in the yelling bubble, and I broke out of the yelling bubble. So part of my message today is, hey y'all, if you're in the yelling bubble and you want to get out, you can break out.
You can do it. Yeah. But you might need a coach to help you do that.
Absolutely. It really does take a mentor or two or three. It takes people who are not in the yelling bubble to teach you how to live, how to think, how to discipline the children, how to interact with your husband, because I've yelled at my husband too.
Oh, no. Okay.
I was a thrower. I threw things, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so it takes someone who's outside of that bubble to really teach you how to do it.
Well, and at some point you took all that energy, because it takes a lot of energy to yell and scream and whatnot, but you were able to take that energy and use your powers for good, because with everything else you got going on in life, you're a published author. You know,
Yes.
we're going to get back to the yelling stuff here in a minute, but I want to talk about this book because authors fascinate me. I'll be honest with you, because I know there's a book in my head somewhere. The chances of me ever getting it from here to paper are slim, but when I get to talk to someone who's actually done it, I've got to talk to them. So if you don't mind, can we jump onto your book real quick?
Absolutely.
I happen to see it right here on the table. Start with the name of the book. Pay attention, folks. Go ahead.
Absolutely. The title is, I got to look at it.
Just happen to have it.
The Day I Threw Banana Bread and Almost Went to Jail. True stories about how I used to lose my temper and how I learned to stop.
Okay, so just from the name itself, the day I threw banana bread and almost went to jail, is there really a day you really did throw banana bread and almost went to jail?
Yes, sir.
Give me a 30-second synopsis of that.
Yes. I was a caregiver for my dad. It was stressful. He baked this banana bread one day, and I got so mad at him, I lobbed it. Now, my dad's banana bread had 7 bananas in it, so it packed a wallop.
Ow.
And I did get in big trouble, but I'm not going to tell you how. You're going to have to read the book to find out.
You know, I might even just jump right for the movie, because this has to be in the works to have a movie.
It might someday, yes.
Okay, well, I've got to get a little plug here. If I want to get the book, how do I go about that?
Oh, it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target.com. You can get it.
It's
Write
all
me
out
an
there.
email, and I'll send you an autographed copy.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep your name and your website up here. That'll be another way to get it as well. All right. So I'm going back to this whole yelling, this whole anger thing.
Yes.
We don't have time to get into the whole deal right now, but what's just a couple of points, because it's almost like the Hulk on TV. The Hulk knows when he's about to turn into the Hulk. So when you feel those feelings coming on, are there some things you can do yourself to bring it on back down?
Yes, absolutely. One very simple thing that I teach people, I call the perfect yawn. So yawning is a very beautiful gift that we've been given that it tells our brains and bodies to calm down. So if you feel that stress coming on, first of all, remember what I said, that you don't have to yell. And then take a break. Do some yawning, do some deep breathing, stretching, wiggling. Yawning is contagious.
Yes.
Too. So if I might try to get some of our listeners to yawn today. If you yawn in your household, you might help the stress level come down. So that's one helpful little tip.
You know, Jeanette, I never knew until this very moment how therapeutic I must be to others, because oftentimes people yawn when they're around me. And I had no idea why they were doing that. But now you make me feel so much better.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I get it, because you're taking a break, you're bringing oxygen to your body, and you're just stepping on back from the scene just a little bit. I like that.
Absolutely.
If only the Hulk would have known.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
right.
I want to get this out there too, because you could have gone a whole different direction. You have a master's in divinity.
That's right.
You could be a pastor right now.
I could.
Yeah.
I could be a pastor. You know, I like to call myself the Mr. Rogers for moms.
Okay.
Because he was a Presbyterian pastor.
Absolutely.
And he liked to teach kids how to feel their feelings in healthy ways. And that's what I do for moms and dads.
That is what you do.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this now?
This will be my 4th year
Good for
after
you.
I launched the business, and I've been working with youth and families for 20 years now.
So have you found, because I read about this a lot with the whole COVID thing going on, and now all of a sudden the whole family dynamic has just changed dramatically, because no longer does everybody get up in the morning and some people go to this job, some people go to this job, some people go to school. In a lot of instances, everybody's right there together 24/7. How's that dynamic playing out these days?
Well, one of the dynamics that's happening is that families are really looking internally at themselves. So where they might have been so busy before, they might argue in the car, but they just would forget about it minutes later, because then they'd arrive at football practice or the gymnastics. And now they're living with it day in, day out. It's really an opportunity to work on those family dynamics for the better.
Okay, well, there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of people out there, because in a lot of cases there's nowhere to go. You can't go to the second bedroom to blow off steam, because lo and behold, it's now a classroom.
That's right.
You know, you can't go to the living room to blow off steam, because that's dad's office or that's mom's office. So everybody, it is all right there together, but it is an opportunity. But it's an opportunity that's a better opportunity when they have some coaching and know what to do to get around it.
That's right.
In all seriousness. So do you ever find yourself with your chosen profession, if you're in a restaurant or something, and remember when we used to go out to eat, and you see a family and they're about to get into it, and you're like, oh my gosh, if only I could help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, I do. And one time I passed a mama who was spanking her baby, a little one, and I had to say something. I had to say, Mama, babies cry. You know, and I was trying to take some deep breaths to help her calm down, because she was having trouble with her own, it's called self-regulation.
Did it work?
Well, she stopped spanking her baby, and she almost punched me.
Out?
You know, yeah, she said.
But you didn't mind that, because you succeeded. You wanted her to quit spanking the baby, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I did. So she got mad at me, and then she put the baby in the car and drove.
Well, I mean, it's just got to be an occupational hazard, if you will. But it's nice to know that you're out there. And the fact that you were able to take all this knowledge and get it into a book with a great title. I don't think anybody's going to get confused when they're trying to find your book online. They don't have to worry about the other one about the story of throwing the bread and blah, 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 because there's one and only, and we have the author here in studio with us today. Jeanette, thank you so much for sharing your story. We appreciate it. It's the type of thing we all need to know.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Appreciate it. Folks, thank you as well. Hey, don't run off. We're coming right back with more on All In.